Hey guys, I'm the Nerd Doctor here to diagnose what's wrong with your RPG game and here to help you fix it. Don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons if you're enjoying the content and help me get more information about when it comes to DC20, as this is another DC20 videos on leveling up. And if you've ever been in that situation where you have leveled up and you rolled a 1 on your HP, or you know what, DM was nice and they let you re-roll ones and then you rolled a 2. Cool, your HP just went up by 2, or maybe you're in that level 4 sweet spot area in D&D and you're just sitting there just like, you know what, ability, feats, I don't really know what to do. I don't really know what to choose between. It's really hard to make that decision at level 4, 8 and all that. Like, do you take a feature which could have a lot of, ramifications, or do you take ability point which can have a lot of ramifications in another way? So it's really hard to make those decisions sometimes, and when it comes to leveling up, it's really difficult to also multi-class. So I'm going to be talking about all the highlights that come with DC20's leveling system, because it really is way more streamlined, way more simple. Let's just start it off with the health points. Like I just said, in D&D, you can take the average if your DM's nice, or they'll make you roll, and if you roll crap. It's really tough because we only level so many times before, the game is over. The average game is about 10 levels, and when it comes down to it, that's not a lot of times to level up, and it doesn't really feel impactful sometimes when you do. DC20 really changed that, starting again with HP. You get a health point pretty much every time you level up. Whether or not marshals do get more health points as they level up, whereas spellcasters don't, and hybrids are right there in the middle. But ultimately, you are constantly growing with your HP with each and every one of your levels. And then when it comes to like the second thing that I talked about, let's talk about what do you choose? Do you choose an ability point, or do you choose a feat? This will take it all out of it. During certain levels, you will get ability points to spend, and on top of that, you will get ancestry points to spend. If you don't know, DC20 has ancestries, so that's your races in D&D, and in those ancestries, you get those ancestry features. But as you level up and get higher and higher, you can get more of your ancestry features. So you're going to be getting more bang for your buck in general. Which brings us to path points, talents, and multi-classes. So let's start with path points. So with path points, you're going to get these at certain levels, and in each one of those path points, you can either move up a martial point, or you can move up a spellcaster point. So whether or not you're a martial character, spellcaster, or trying to play some kind of hybrid, you're going to be able to choose which one you want to soup up more. So, even if you're just trying to take something minorly in martial, you can be a spellcaster and take all your normal levels in your regular class, and then get a little bit of martial stuff. So this is that ability to kind of get both flavors, which a lot of people really like. Especially in D&D, it's hard pressed to find a class that doesn't have some sort of spellclassing subclass, and a lot of people like to mix and match them and kind of be a jack of all trades. And this kind of lets you do that. You can superpower one of those, or you can get a little bit less and get a little more on the other. Then you've got your talents. So talents, you're going to get talents at a few different levels as well, and those talents can be taken from your class. It can also be, a talent could increase your ability points. It's kind of like the features version of D&D is what talents is. And so talents is this whole mix and match bag of tricks that you get when it comes to leveling up, and you just have a lot of creativity, go wherever you want with that. You can get really targeted with it and just soup up your class, or you can mix and match. You can even take a talent in multi-classing, and this brings us to the last thing. Multi-classing is so huge when it comes to DC20 because it very much is seamless. They challenged players to break the game recently. Alan recently did a game where he had some people who are really good at making broken classes and broken characters when it comes to their super abilities, and they couldn't do it. So he keeps it all very, very balanced, and it's very easy to transition from one to the other, particularly because of the whole prime concept. There isn't any requirements of a certain ability to do another class. Like, for instance, if you took the barbarian class, you needed a certain level of strength. They don't have those requirements in DC20. You can just take a level in Barbarian. Now, when you're doing this, you obviously have to take a level, equal to a certain amount of levels. So you can't just take a 5th level in Barbarian as per natural. But you don't feel like you're going to lose anything when it comes to multi-classing. And I feel like one feeling that you get when you multi-class in something like D&D, or even when you multi-class in Pathfinder for that matter, is that when you take a multi-class in something else, you're losing like a really powerful ability at that higher level. Whereas, a lot of the level abilities, they're pretty similar. They're not too off kilter. We're still in beta, so I could be wrong. We'll see what happens when 5th and 6th and 7th and 8th, all those levels come out. It could be totally different and you could get that same feeling, so I am just speculating. But just from what I know about Alan and the way that he is building this game, is I absolutely believe that he's going to make it so that when you take another level out from another class, it's not going to feel like this super underpowered ability. It's going to be another useful ability in your repertoire. You may not be as powerful as a wizard as you would have been, but you're still going to feel like kind of equally strong, if that makes sense. And maybe I'm not explaining that well enough, and I do apologize for that. I think I just said last thing was multi-classing, but last thing is subclasses. So subclasses, he really went a different way with it. Whereas in D&D, it was very theme-based. You have your arcane trickster. It's same thing with Pathfinders. You're very theme-based with your different subclasses. But the way, and you get these new abilities based on that particular theme. But the subclasses in DC20, they are theme-based as well, but what they do is the theme basically is taking one of the core attributes, one of the core skills or abilities, so to speak, like just for example, your cunning action as a rogue, or your maybe your second wind ability as a fighter. So what your subclass does, it actually builds off those earlier abilities in levels 1 and 2. And then when you get another level later in your subclass, it'll build off what you get in like levels 5 and 6. So it's really geared towards holding true to your character and what it is versus having something completely new. Again, maybe I'm not explaining that well enough, but it's not this completely unique new ability. It's these subclasses are playing off these things, because he really does try to hold true to the concept of marshals are marshals, spellcasters are spellcasters, and hybrids are hybrids. And what you get from that is this truly balanced system between marshals and spellcasters, as I talked about in a previous video, because in every other game it feels like you almost need magic, whereas I don't think you get that feel in DC20. You don't need magic. But if you want to take a level in it, whether it's through a path point, you can get some magic that way, or you can take a talent and take a spellcasting ability as a talent, or take a level of wizard or sorcerer or any one of the number of spellcasters that you get, so that you can do that. So a number of things that you can do with that, and it's so cool. Every level feels incredibly impactful in DC20 between path points, talents, ancestry points. You're getting your attribute points. You're getting skill points to increase your skills. You're getting trade points to increase your trades. You're getting more maneuvers. You're getting more mana. You're getting more stamina. It just feels like every level matters. Whereas I feel like when I played D&D, I didn't get that feeling. Like there was times where I'm like, I'm waiting for the next tire ability or something like that. Or I really did always, like I tried to play the way I wanted to play. I was never trying to break characters, but I had a theme. I had a concept in my mind that I just could not get out of a normal subclass, or I could not get out of a normal class. And I could either I had trouble with trying to find a way to multi-class, or I just couldn't, I just wish things were a little bit different. I do have such a love and respect for D&D when I first got into it, and it's the reason I got into TTRPGs in the first place. But got to give credit to Alan again, because DC20 absolutely slaps. DC20 turns every level into a power spike. If you're tired of filler levels and a coin flip HP, it's time to evolve. This is DC20, and I'm the Nerd Doctor. This was your weekly dose. Stay clever, play play smarter. And again, don't forget those like and subscribe buttons, and keep an eye out in these in the end of these videos, because I will be having a player map for DC20 as well as different cards for new maneuvers, classes, spells, and whatnot as soon as DC20 is out of beta. All right, thanks for you guys.